So, welcome back, listeners, to the Inebri-art podcast. We are recording someplace new today. We are at the Tavern on the Wharf in Plymouth. Come down and check it out. I just had some sort of, let me tell you what it was. It was a shaved prime rib sandwich, and it was damn delicious.
They look pretty dumb.
Yeah, they're really nice here.
Yeah, they've been really nice because it's kind of a last minute thing, scheduling issues. But we are here with Anika Scribbling. Is it Scribbling?
It's all right. So,
and where did the name come from? Let's start with that because that's an unusual name.
All right. So, the premise behind the name, there was a car crash that happened. This is kind of a sentimental story, but a car crash happened. It was between a mom and his daughter. And his daughter, excuse me. So between a mom and her daughter, right? And it was like a very catastrophic thing that happened.
Is this a true story, or is this just a theoretical thing?
No. So this happened in Maine, actually. Okay. And the car crash had happened, and they didn't So the girl was texting on her phone, hit the mom. Didn't know that at the time, obviously. Wrote down on a piece of paper. It was just like, can you give this to my mom? Let her know that I'm okay. I'm getting rushed off the hospital. They said we can't do that because the person you hit was your mom.
Oh my God! Shut up.
That didn't happen.
Oh,
that is a made-up story.
Oh, I was gonna say that's fucked up.
What actually happened was we were trying to figure out a band name, and I saw a cool font. It was called something like the font. Like I was like, all right, we need a cool font to start off with, and it was like this font was like Scribbling. Like something like it was like David Scribbling font. I was like, that sounds kind of cool, and I like messed with it. The name is actually
names.com, and
it's actually Anika Scribbling. But
Anika.
Yep. But everyone always does the Anika thing. But I think it's kind of cool. Like Alexis on fire, or Alex is on fire.
Yeah,
they always get that. So like, if we ever get to that point where we have fans that are like that passionate, like, hey, bro. It's actually Anika Scribbling.
Yeah,
right.
It's not Anika, man. I've been listening since, the podcast. So that was Dylan telling the story, and then we have Paul, who plays drums, and Ken, who plays banjo, and Dylan and Ken are brothers.
Correct.
So how long have you known each other?
Well, Kenny and I go back pretty far. But no, Paul...
how old are you?
Yeah. Paul was introduced to us. So the other member that's not here tonight, and actually is no longer a member of the band, but his name is Tyler, and he was the one that introduced Paul to the group.
Okay.
That was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago.
3
now.
or 4 years.
And Paul and I just clicked right off the bat. I mean, we would practice, and I'd be the one guy drinking during practice, and this kid is he would hang out with me after practice, and I was like, man, this kid's the man. Like anyone that's just gonna sit there while I'm like pounding beers, being like, dude, this is great. and from there we became really good friends. But no, Tyler Kinship, who was the original bass player for the band, he brought Paul in. We started off with Eric George on drums. And the band kind of took a hiatus.
Yeah.
And
how long has the band been around?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's been around for a while. I mean, we're
that'd be 4 or 5, right?
Longer than that. Yeah. No, we because I started. I was originally the first serious band that I did a lot with was a band called M8 the Lion. Okay. And when I was with them on the side, I was kind of starting to write this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And we started back in 2008.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been quite a few years that the project's been kind of dragging along, but we haven't really done anything. My thing is, I just love, doing sessions in the studio and that kind of stuff. I like doing this type of stuff and, the writing process and all that. I don't know what, I like playing shows too, but I think I'm more in it for just being able to put out the recordings and put out the music videos and that kind of stuff. So that's why if you go to our YouTube page or if you go to our Facebook page, it's just chock full of...
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Because I honestly, I'm trying to remember how I stumbled across you guys, and I'm sure it's some sort of Facebook post or something that someone shared. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the hell is this? And so... I looked up, and then there's a YouTube channel, and you guys record in some sort of horror movie murder barn, it looks like. like
I'm not aware of this.
where there's some sort of video. It looks like you guys are in an attic
I
or
see.
something.
You're talking about that was the
Yes.
Venetian Fair. So we did a all right. So
It looks kind of spooky.
we that was okay. So I can give you the backstory on that. I have this. I just kind of. So I always see cover videos and everyone's trying to like cover the latest and greatest, but I started coming up with these I was like, why don't we just cover our friends' bands? It would be a good cross promotion kind of
that's
thing.
cool. Yeah.
And the video that you saw was from like a segment of like that series, and there's a couple of videos out there. Venetian Fair, wicked good friends of ours, of mine I should say, not so much the band, but like when I was yeah. Oh, can I get another beer, please?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Don't worry, our listeners know beer orders come first. And multiple ones that people have just like droned off in mid-sentence.
Also,
and,
any excuse to get the Halloween decorations out.
Right, right. So anyway, I'll try to make the. I always go off on a tangent, but that was from just a cover series of being like, let's cover our friend's band, but it happened to be in around Halloween time. So
that's cool.
And they're kind of the band is a little bit more in the like I don't know, spooky
circus type sound.
Yeah, which is really. I mean, they're not even like at this point they're not a band anymore, but really
You
cool
can still
band on the
cover
scene.
them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's the video that you saw.
And so, like, how would you describe your sound? Are you guys? I don't want to sound stupid, but are you guys bluegrass? Is that like what you consider yourself?
We started off. I would say more like I would say folk, but we kind of got. When we introduced Paul and when the summer record came out, I feel like it went more in like an indie rock direction.
Yeah.
Which I'm like totally cool with. I don't know. I mean, with genres and stuff, I think every band probably has the same feelings on like, well, I don't know, man. I don't know what you.
Well, and that's the thing is like every band is
many...
kind of like especially nowadays, is an amalgam of stuff.
Yeah,
there's so many influences.
Exactly.
But...
I mean, I'll tell you what. When I tag, when I post the videos and I have to like do the tag section for like what I want people to like engage on, I'm always tagging bluegrass, folk, Americana. Although I don't even know what Americana really is.
Yeah, it's weird. I wouldn't even think of that as like a music style. I think it's that just kind of like
it pops up as an option when I start tagging those, they start giving you like
suggestions.
Kind of old timey, good old days.
Is that what it is? Yeah,
it's "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Is that okay? So, and I guess I'm cool with that. All those different styles. So in the folk, from folk to bluegrass and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess. But I mean, if you ask like. If I compare ourselves to like real folk and real bluegrass, I would say we're more in the new wave hipster category. I don't think like what I mean. But
if I didn't have a banjo, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's almost like I don't want to say bluegrass just because it's a banjo, but the same aspect is a banjo.
It definitely has those root elements in it. But no, I mean. Yeah, I think just the different, and especially with the upright bass and all that. I think the elements are there, but the actual style of the music, like my voice definitely doesn't suit bluegrass, or I think my voice would be considered more of like an indie kind of style.
Yeah, I can see that.
Stylistic that goes into the group.
So we can kind of go around the table. What do you listen to? Like.
Influences and stuff like that.
I always say like, oh, what's your favorite band? People are like, oh, I listen a little bit of everything. And I literally just called someone, like that's a cop out.
Right. One of my biggest influences is Jeff Buckley by far. I don't know if he's of any reflection of maybe a little bit, but his voice is just it's everything that I can ever hope to like. You know what I mean? Like his vocal style is unbelievable. Are you familiar with Jeff Buckley at all?
I've heard the name, but I can't place.
Yeah. Look into him if you're ever looking for some new music, man. He's
short-lived
awesome.
musician. So.
You know the Hallelujah. He was known for like his Hallelujah cover that he did in Shrek.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't in Shrek.
What's
Shrek
that?
was the piano one. That was
Is it a different one? See, I don't even know. This is what I was told. It was his that was like. Are you sure, man?
I'm 100%
I did like a
positive.
project
Research?
for.
I've seen
We have a research
so
department.
many times.
Well, see, because
Yes.
I got into Jeff Buckley through a friend of mine. He was showing it to me, and it was funny because when I listened to it, we were listening to It was like James Brown, and then it went from like that to like Coltrane, and then to Jeff Buckley. So I didn't put a face to the music.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that like this is like. Do you have the facts?
Do you have an answer?
Rupert Holmes.
What?
His name Rupert Holmes.
Rufus
Wainwright.
Oh, that was
Who
close.
the fuck is
Shrek.
Rupert Holmes? Yes.
I don't know. I'll look that up
Rufus
next.
Wainwright.
But was it in Shrek though?
It wasn't Shrek, but it wasn't Jeff Buckley.
It wasn't Jeff Buckley.
No, Jeff
No, it was
Buckley
the Rufus
did it in
one.
'93, and Shrek was. I'm gonna go later than that. 'Cause I'm not looking this up.
I
right
think
now.
it was later than that.
Shrek was like 2002 or something.
There was something late, like this millennium.
Right, yeah, but he did it. He
You
did
didn't
it.
get that tier of CGI in '93.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, but the song was out, so they could have used that in the movie, though.
No, it was in the movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Hallelujah
the song's
is
from,
way
like,
older
80s.
than.
Oh no, of course.
Hallelujah's from
No,
like
yeah.
the early '80s.
Right. Okay,
So yeah, they covered it, but it wasn't the Jeff Buckley cover.
gotcha.
And what about you, Paul? What do you listen to?
So, my favorite group would be a tie between the Killers and Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
I just love like Bruce Springsteen for his live stuff, although I have to admit I've never seen him live. But like when you watch his videos and everything, the
I have a
band's
couple
just
friends
cooking.
who have
It's,
seen him
insane.
live, like every time he comes around, because I used to work with one of his guitarist roadie's mothers. So like anytime they come around, she gets to go see him play.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like backstage, and
Yeah.
the whole nine. So, and what about you, Ken?
Oh, thank you very
I've
much.
always been a classic rock guy.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is our parents had a cover band ever since we were like in the womb. So growing up, that's what I heard was like Jethro Tull, the Beatles, the Doors.
Love me some Jethro Tull.
Like all that type of stuff. So just growing up, that's what I was exposed to, and that's just what I learned to love.
Yeah, I used to have a little light music. It's a live acoustic album. I love the
Okay,
hell out of
yeah.
that album.
I've even got into some of like, because I'm a songwriter too, so getting into like the Doors and then Jim's poetry and all that, even though like his later years were weird if you ever get into reading his stuff.
Yeah. Drugs are bad. So that's an interesting. So like everything I've seen, you get. Well, I always thought it was originals, but apparently you're covering people you knew. So who do you write collectively, or like do you?
It's mainly one songwriter, because I think that's where the seed of the song starts. Is one person has an idea, and
Yeah.
then they bring it to the band, and then the band embellishes on that idea.
and that's kind of like where the contribution comes from.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. Yeah, no, usually, it starts off with just a song idea that I have. I'll bring it to the table, and then, Kenny and I will usually spend a lot of time where, the only reason why Kenny plays banjo is because I was like, dude, he's not the original banjo player. We actually had a kid before him, and he was, involved in college. Of like, after he left, I came home like, Kenny, guess what you're doing today? And he was like, what? I'm like, well, the old banjo player left his banjo at the house, and we needed a banjo player, so
Congratulations.
I know your pain.
Yeah, that's what I'm always like. Fish, we're doing a podcast. He's like, well, I guess I'm learning how to do that. And I'm like, yep, you are.
Listen to this and figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, did you play an instrument before? I'm assuming, because
Yeah, I
feel like you
started
could just
out on
pick
guitar,
up banjo.
but then banjo came after that. But music, especially like guitar to banjo, they're both stringed instruments, so
Yeah.
a lot of the technique is the same. And then on guitar, I did a lot of classical type guitar playing, so I already had the finger picking, so it was just a matter of transferring
Chord
that
shapes
to
and
a
all
different tuning.
Right, yeah.
that
So,
allowed me
and you
to-
said your parents were musicians too. I'm assuming that was a huge influence on you guys
Oh,
growing
yeah.
up
of
around
course,
music.
yeah.
definitely blessed with like just growing up around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they ever kind of like? Was it encouragement or more than encouragement? Were they like?
Well,
you're
Oh, no.
it's
Yeah,
just
go
like-
ahead. Yeah, no,
For
of course.
me, it was kind of like, all right, this is the family trade. This is what I have to do. You
Yeah.
know, so I went with it with that mindset, because being a kid, you don't know anything about anything, so
Right.
you kind of ride the flow,
Right.
and that's where the flow was. So that's where I went.
No, growing up with musical parents, it was surprisingly it's bittersweet. sweeten the fact that you're exposed to all these different elements. I mean, as a guitar player, there was always musicians around, and like when I started off, I took maybe a month's worth of lessons, and that's about all we could afford. The rest was like, hey, what are you doing there? And like, show me that little trick and this and that. And that's like, how I progressed as a guitar player. But on the flip side, trying to use their equipment and stuff like that, or like trying to get a practice together, it's like, they're like, man, my knobs are all fucked up. My mic
you been
stands
touching this?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, which I guess is I guess it's like a great problem to have if you really think about it. Like, but it just, it's just funny because you would think they would be all like, yeah, get them down. Like, I want to see you guys get a band together and jam and do this and do that.
Yeah, but
like,
not with my shit.
Yeah, that's, I guess, kind of where it's at. You know what I mean?
What
They'll take my microphone and like take all my
That's
shit
different.
all the
That's
time.
totally different.
Yeah.
I have kids. That's totally okay. Don't take French fries off of my plate, but it's okay if I take them off of yours. Paul, how did you get involved in music?
So I am not from a musical family at all. No one in my immediate family is musicians or anything.
There's respect in finding it on your own.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. But they're all music lovers. So my dad was always playing music. He was into one of his favorite bands was Led Zeppelin, and John Bonham is just such a monster drummer. I remember like him playing
I've
CDs
never heard of him.
and everything. No, some no name. I don't know. Him playing CDs of Led Zeppelin, and I'm just like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And were they like supportive or they?
Yeah.
Very.
That's
Wait,
awesome.
what the fuck happened, dude? You're in a fucking folk band, dude.
I don't know. Should be a power rock, like arena rock hair band.
Do you guys ever like? You said you don't play out a lot, but when you do play out, do you have like a crazy drum solo in the middle? I feel like that would be
No.
awesome.
No, I don't.
Well, the drum
As a matter
solo
of
happens
fact.
through the whole song.
Honestly, though, like when we first started off, it was like the only way to make money in this whole game is to like do cover gigs,
Yeah.
and
Oh, it absolutely is.
and like space filler type shit. I mean, I feel like we've had like some moments where we're like kind of like, all right, man, like I don't know if we've really had any those moments where he's like, you're like really building it up, but we've definitely let you go off the fly a little bit, I think. And if I haven't,
I think so.
then maybe we should introduce that into our.
Definitely playing in Boston was a lot of fun.
Oh, where'd you play in Boston?
Yeah, it was, what was it?
Yeah, a
House
friend of
Blues
ours.
restaurant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you got to specify
Yeah.
the restaurant.
Yeah,
we weren't
yeah.
playing the house.
Oh, there's like a
Not
difference.
that good.
Oh, okay.
No one's
played the bar
no
next
one's eating dinner at
See,
the House of Blues.
I feel like you
But where
should
we
not
were-
specify.
Yeah,
You've been
I know.
like,
You're probably lying.
Anika
about
Scribbling
that.
has played House of
but,
Blues.
no,
And-
But the
Big deal.
restaurant has the window that leads to the stadium where the Red Sox were playing.
Dude,
that
those
day.
shows
And
were
they
fucking
heard
cool.
him from the bleachers.
They did say
at the
Oh,
Red
shit,
Yeah,
Sox.
that's
with the
awesome.
drums,
And then they came
That's
down
a pretty
to
cool
here.
Yeah.
location to play.
You know what though? It's the worst location to try to watch a ball game though, because you know what's gonna happen
Yeah.
before you see it on the screen. Because of the
Oh,
latency and shit.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And you look up and it's like, oh.
Yeah, you know what's gonna happen, and that always pissed me off when I was trying to, But no, that was a fun spot to play. Our friend Josh Larson worked there, and he would always pull us gigs, and really good dude to know. But those were fun. Yeah.
Do you play locally here in the Plymouth area at all?
We do, yeah. We actually played Anna's
Right.
Oh, nice.
for like
Yeah.
probably I think
the summer.
like several gigs over the summertime.
Yeah,
we
I
played
got
quite-
buddies that play there pretty much on the regular.
They're really cool.
Now, do they let you guys set up inside the fence?
Yeah, no,
Yes.
we actually we started off
Outside the fence, and then
we
you like graduated.
into it. So I'm
To me
taking
was
that
the
as a good thing.
funniest setup ever.
Yes, yeah, and you couldn't take drinks out there or anything like
Yeah.
that.
You play
so,
at
like-
the restaurant, but you have to be like outside.
exactly, yeah.
Because my buddy's band's called Second Chance, and so I went down to see him play, and he's like set up. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, yeah, we have to set up outside, and I'm like, that's so good.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't. He doesn't like it gets. It's like anyone could just run up and grab his guitar and
Sure,
flee,
yeah.
you know.
Shit.
But yeah,
That would be pretty amazing to like just see somebody run up and just scoot the fucking guitar. Like, see ya.
Yeah.
No, we played. I think the first gig that we played there was outside the fence, and the rest were all within
Inside, yeah.
inside. So, but yeah, those are cool gigs. Other than that, we played the New World a few times.
Now, did you guys play there recently? I feel no.
No, it was probably about a year
and a
ago.
half
ago.
Yeah.
Finna's was probably our most recent, right?
Other than Anna's, yeah, I think Finna's was the most recent.
That's in Kingston, right?
in Kingston, yeah. But prior to that, like when we do, when like if we get together and do like not the, just trying to make money and do the whole cover gig scene, we'll play in the city a lot. We'll do like a lot of Boston gigs and stuff.
Nice.
But typically it's Plymouth. The last one that we did was the Venus 2 in Marshfield. That was the most recent one we did.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of like pepper in our songs to be like, hey.
You do,
like,
you do a few covers.
What do
You do a
yeah,
couple of,
right, exactly. And surprisingly, it goes over pretty well.
Now, do you guys have like fans that kind of follow you around? And
Yeah, we have a pretty good group of people that come through, and
because I feel like Ken's got groupies.
He
just gives off that vibe.
Yeah. He just fucking puts the fan in front of his face and gets the wavy hair. Ain't no white room. All psychedelic.
Could have the beard blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
So, where, if our listeners want to check out your music, you said you have a YouTube channel.
We have a YouTube channel. We have Facebook. A lot of what's going on right now is on Facebook.
Yeah.
A lot of the activity is via that. But we are working to get Spotify up and running. I think we have a SoundCloud. We might have
We have a
Reverb Nation.
SoundCloud. We
They
do have a
might
SoundCloud.
still be a MySpace page.
MySpace page.
People would help us out, and they
Hit
did
us up on
stuff, and
Friendster.
it's
Oh,
somewhere.
good. We're like, hey man, I set you up a MySpace page, and you're like, great.
But
That doesn't help me.
yeah.
But I should preference with, I should note that we have just come back from a pretty long hiatus. Like we haven't this between this and like the 2 gigs prior to this is like what we've been up to lately. So
Yeah.
we're like getting momentum.
Well, this is
going.
guaranteed
Yeah.
to get you like 1-2 listeners.
Cool.
We actually had a website at one.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's
Well,
that's
take
cool.
it back. Us and his son. His
Oh
son.
yeah, my son's a big fan.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Right on.
he's in. Both my kids are into music, and my daughter's into art. So it's I think it's great because he gets to hear kind of like people's. Well, this is always what I ask people. I'm like, what kind of advice would you give to kids starting off?
Don't try to pursue a life in music.
You seem to be getting that a lot.
That seems to be very
Although talk to me in a couple of years because I'm currently getting my music, like I'm going for music education, so we'll see if I can. We're all teachers, by the way. We teach at 3D Guitar Music, so I think
Where's 3D Guitar?
Your shirt right now. I see that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah, band
Summer band camp.
That is great radio.
Where is 3D?
It's in Pembroke. It's right across the street from It's a Party. It's a junction between.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I know what that is. But I think those band camps are great. My son was in one a couple of years ago, and they.
Well, what's your son's name?
Yeah.
Liam. It wasn't there. It was in Taunton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Luke's. Is there Luke's in Taunton?
Luke's Liquor? That
No.
sounds like a weird place to
This
have
is
a band
this
camp.
person.
Yeah,
Don't
that's not
judge.
awesome.
No, I can't remember the name of the place, but yeah, it was in Taunton. And they put the bands together and whatnot.
Right.
So he plays saxophone, so it's
Oh,
kind of like
oh,
a
that's
cool
great.
mix
Yeah, that's awesome.
to the band.
No, I mean, advice to a kid that's if that's what you want to do. I mean, honestly, it's all about, I guess, just don't get hitched up with a woman that's gonna expect
All right,
more
you
from
really
you
want
than
some advice? The real advice is that it does not happen overnight. You have to practice for it. You have to be driven to get there. It is your choice. The teacher can show you what steps to take, but only you can take those steps.
And I feel like that is in regards to any pursuit, really.
Sure,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because it's like you see people, Joe Schmo in the office or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, that person's so lucky or so talented." You're like, "No, they worked their ass off,"
Right.
And I don't think people realize how much work.
Right.
Yeah, like Beethoven's a genius, yeah, but his parents whipped him into playing those things.
Right.
Probably.
You say that
later.
like it's wrong.
Well, when you get a cat of nine tails going,
Oh, I think it's
The Inebri-art podcast does not condone child abuse. Liam, I don't care. It's not okay, Liam. It's not okay.
Actually, are you guys familiar with Johnny Cupcakes? The
Yes.
T-shirt company?
Yeah.
The best advice I ever heard was from Johnny Earl, who started that, and his advice was be boring. He's like, all your friends are going partying, out the clubs. You're working.
And that's
working
so
on
true.
what you trade,
That's so
and that's
true.
really what it falls down to.
I mean, it's true to some degree, though. I would argue that.
You should always. I think he's making kind of a.
I'm sure. Yeah,
he
I
wasn't.
But I understand. I mean,
Although he's straight edge, so he might be.
Oh, okay. No, but I mean, I could argue that, but I can agree with that in some respect to as far as like music. I mean, look at the three of us. As far as what would I do when I came? I mean, I didn't really have friends in high school. I came home and I ran home, and all I wanted to do was just practice my guitar. Like
Right.
I was just obsessed with at the time I loved. This is like almost embarrassing to say now, but like I loved shred metal. And I would be all about that, like pop, like Steve. We were actually just talking about
Like
something.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
all that type of shit.
Were you just gonna say Steve Vai?
I was Steve Vai.
I saw
Joe
him in
Satriani.
concert.
Did you? Yeah,
Yeah.
was it like a G3 type of thing? or-
He was. It's when he was with Whitesnake.
Oh wow! Wait,
Yeah.
did you say you just saw him?
No. I saw him.
Oh, okay.
Not just.
It's important to remember.
It was a long time ago. Go fuck yourself. I gotta book older people. I love Tom. Our last guest was way older than me. So.
Tom, what's his last name?
Faye?
I thought you were gonna say Jello. I don't know if you know him, sax player, but he's
No.
a really cool guy.
I feel like that name sounds familiar. Like
He's on the scene. He's doing his thing. But anyway, yeah. No, I mean, be boring. Yeah, I definitely can see where he's coming from with that. Like, because that just means that you're focused. You're on top of what you're trying to do.
It means you really have a passion for what it is, and I think your passion is like the most important thing.
Sure. Absolutely.
You don't have to be. I can't remember who said it, but they're talking about Sid. Lead singer of the Sex Pistols. Is that
Sid Vicious.
Johnny Rotten?
Oh, Johnny Rotten. So Sid Vicious was a guitar. Yeah.
And then he's like, Johnny Rotten's not a good singer,
Right.
but he's passionate and he worked his ass off, and that's where he got.
Yeah. Right.
So we talked about your favorites. So like, what else when you guys aren't playing music? Like, what else are you guys into? Like, movies, books.
I guess that's a good one for Kenny. Kenny's into all kinds of crazy shit.
I guess my latest endeavor is video games, because I've always, since I was a kid, you'd find me at the TV with like whatever system I could get my hands on, and I'd be playing. So I took that motivation and turned it into like, all right, so I can play these things well, but could I actually make one?
Oh, like you're trying to make video games?
So yeah,
he's actually in
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say trying. That sounds.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I am.
He's
because
actually in the middle of
anything is a
making
journey.
like an Anika Scribbling game, which is
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's
it's-
cool.
So it's pretty much your side-scrolling shooter like Gradius type of thing, but it's got some elements that I could throw in there, and
Nice.
it's nothing too complicated. It's not like your AAA open world, like all that stuff. No way. You need a team of like 1,000 people to do something like that.
That's
It's
involved,
8-bit.
yeah.
It's the X and Y access.
But then you look at one of the most successful games recently was Flappy Bird.
yeah,
I mean, like,
right. Exactly.
You know, it's
and the
you
only
just gotta
reason
hit
it
the
was
rhythm.
successful is because Mario pipes were in there. But
Right, yeah, but you know,
Right.
it doesn't matter. It was successful.
Well, yeah, and then they got sued.
Did they really?
is that why they pulled it?
I think they had to
pulled
pull the
it.
game because they were. If they didn't get sued, they got threatened because it's. Hey
as far
guys,
as I understand,
Oh, it's definitely stolen from Mario, but it's still.
I mean, it's when you're that blatant.
which is a
Right,
shame
right,
because they
right.
could have used anything else for those barriers.
Yes,
Yeah.
But would have like is it
Who
to put the
knows?
Right.
success
You
Exactly.
can't
be-
tell at this point.
Yeah,
It's
I've
designed
broken-
for coordinated people with good reflexes, and I am neither of those things.
I
And-
never did well with that
Yeah.
game.
And what about you, Paul? Like, what do you do when you're not drumming?
When I'm not drumming, I am an ultimate frisbee player. Played all through college.
No shit.
Kid's
And,
fucking amazing too. I don't.
and
hate it.
That's
in
really
high
something you
school
don't
and
run into a
everything.
lot.
Yeah, it's fun. I do like local leagues and everything like that. So it's my
Yeah,
only way of
there's
keeping in shape.
so there's like local ultimate frisbee leagues.
There are, yes. It's called Buddha.
Buddha.
Believe it or not.
Okay.
It's spelled differently. It's BUDA, Boston Ultimate Disc Alliance.
Yeah, okay. So
Because
it's
Frisbee will get you suits. It's also a brand
Yes,
name.
it is a brand
that
name,
true.
yes.
That is a whammo trademark.
Yes.
So Ultimate Frisbee's similar
just
to
Ultimate.
football? Is that like kind of?
It's like a cross between football and basketball and a little bit of soccer.
Yeah.
He's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've played
That's why
it
he's
twice
research.
because again, twitch reflexes and coordination.
It's like the sport for people who are slightly more athletic than like totally non-athletic people, but would never cut it in an actual sport.
In an
If
actual
you're too
athletic.
good for bowling,
Yes.
Wait, can you drink and play Ultimate Frisbee at the same time?
Yes.
Oh.
There is a thing called a beer point, where everyone just plays in one hand, and in the other hand they have a beer.
I can get behind that.
I know. I feel like this is, I don't know if it's,
Andy, it's not
spectator
just sport.
sport, but
It all makes sense now.
well,
And
I suppose you
Dylan,
do have a disc
what about
belt,
you?
too.
You know, honestly,
a
I
whole
don't.
generation of people to be doing this.
I hope so, man. I hope so.
I honestly, I mean, when I really, I'm involved in college right now, so that's kind of consuming a lot of my time. But as far as like hobbies outside of music, I don't know, man. Like, I know this kind of sounds like a cop out kind of answer, but I don't have like any like
It's just music.
it's really been all about that, and I'm kind of starting to like try to reevaluate that and be like, man, I need to like think of, maybe I'll get into like fucking painting or something. I don't know, but something.
Funny
to,
you
like,
mentioned that. We run painting classes.
But I don't know. I mean, I just my girlfriend bought me a brewing kit, and it came out terrible. So I don't.
That's the saddest thing. I've known a few people to brew beer. And they're
it's-
always like, it's the saddest thing. Like
Yeah,
jumping
it's
out a failed beer.
Right, exactly.
Like I just want to cry. Because it's not like you brew it and get to drink it. It's
Right,
like
right.
you brew it, sit for
Yeah,
months.
it takes a while.
Yeah.
It's a long process.
and
It
then
didn't come out
it's
good.
just like, oh, I had to dump all that out.
Right. Yeah, it's not a good process. But no, I mean, it's for the most part it's music. I mean, I'm going for
you
music
need a bathroom
education. I'm going for that sort of thing. So I'm constantly. I started lessons again with this guy Charlie O'Neill, who's really, really, really talented. Just to even further my guitar playing and try to get.
That's
a
another
different perspective
important,
and-
I think, lesson for
Yeah,
people is
absolutely.
like you can't ever stop learning.
Absolutely,
No matter
yeah.
who you
So
are.
where are you guys going to? Where are you going to school?
I'm currently. He's already graduated. He's done. I should be. He's younger than I am. I'm just a bum. But no, I'm getting my prereqs done at Massasoit, and I'm transferring to Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah, I went there.
Oh, cool. Right on.
Way the hell
Yeah.
long time. ago.
So are you looking to like at what level do you want to teach? Like, are you looking like
I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna.
high school?
I would. That would be
Yeah.
preferable. If I could get into anything with, because currently, I mean, honestly, the where we're at right now is great, and the money's good, the hours so flexible, but the security and the benefits just aren't there.
Right,
So if
yeah.
I can break that wall and try to get into public schools where I can actually have some security and some benefits, like that'd be great. I mean, that or. If I taught at like a conservatory or something like that,
Yeah.
that'd be cool too. I mean, it's really just trying to like I don't know. I guess like get to the next step. And
We've
just have
actually had two of the South Shore Conservatory teachers on our podcast. So.
some.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And they just run such a great program, and that would be fine with me. I mean, that's just the next step is just trying to get out of
Were you always thinking of teaching? Because teaching is a very different experience. I mean,
No.
I teach painting to. I've said this before, and I feel like people might feel like it's insulting, but to drunken soccer moms.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
do you do? Is this like paint?
It's
paint night?
it's
Yeah.
like paint
Okay.
night. We call ours canvas
we
and
love our
cocktails.
drunken
okay,
soccer
cool. Yeah,
moms.
And
We love you.
it's yeah, we do. It's so much fun, and I kind of fell into it. Like someone else was doing it, and then
Yeah,
they stopped
yeah,
doing
yeah.
it, and so I did it because no one else was.
Oh, okay.
And it's a lot of fun, and it's not something I ever thought of. But
Yeah.
So-
No, teaching. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys. I mean, like if you feel the same way, but for me, I went from a certain level of playing, and after teaching, having to actually like, it's one thing to kind of like be like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, but when you actually have to really convey to somebody like how to take the right steps to get to a certain level, you really need to know and like convey to them that you understand what's going. It's like if you're walking them through like major scales and minor scales and like the different chord shapes and yada yada yada. It just makes you a better player to be able to teach somebody that, especially where it's just like repetition and it's almost like redundant from day to day to do this type of things.
And the students almost make the best teachers because they'll bring up the question.
Exactly, and you really need
and then
to,
you kind of have to go, okay, hang on, why do I do it that way?
Exactly. right, and it kind of makes you think about it. So I don't know if you have that same perspective.
I don't quite have that same perspective because a lot of the times it's like, all right, use blue. No. Wash your brush off.
And you're working with a group of people.
Yeah,
right?
and it's like blue. No, I said blue. No, not that shade of blue. Because they're distracted and they're taking selfies and it's just
drinking
fun.
I assume very few of your students are drinking.
Yeah, we've had some like really drunk people. But the thing that like it really kind of opened my eyes to, are you guys familiar with Bob Ross?
Yes.
Yeah. I always like had no interest in that guy. I was like, it's not real art, blah blah. And then like now I look back and go, oh, I get it. It's not supposed to be like in the MFA. It's just to get someone to pick up a paintbrush and go, you can do this too.
Yeah.
So to me,
30 minutes.
Yeah. But to me, it's more rewarding to see people like come back again and again and again and. Maybe, send me a picture. I just painted this.
Right.
For that to me, that's exciting because it's like I've opened up something new for them.
And that's great. We have like where we fall between is we're on the borderline cuff of between being underpaid babysitters and somebody that's really making an impact on somebody's life as far as like.
And I mean, don't take this the wrong way. You guys seem like young guys. Go fuck yourself. But I feel like at some point, because I've talked to those other guys I talked about, and like some of their students have gone on to have bands and play out. And to me, I feel like that would be like really rewarding.
Oh yeah.
Like, hey, maybe I had something to do.
Yeah. I've this happened to me once, but I had one student, and I have plenty of kids that are just like progressing so quickly. But I had one student. I had him for about 2 years. He was 18 when he got to a point where I was just like, dude, I literally taught you everything that I have.
Yeah.
You were at the point where, as far as like technique and this and that, you're just gonna have to play out and like really try to push the things that I showed you.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like I literally showed you everything that I have to offer you. Like at this point, I had to give him but like I like offered him a position with my boss, the head instructor at our school, and I was like, this, I really can't do anything else for you, man. Like you've surpassed everything that I have to offer.
I actually had it's a weird statement. I had one student. She's not really my student because now she's my girlfriend, who I've literally been like, I don't know why you come, because like, you can paint anything that these. So I've actually kind of been like, why don't you go? One of our former guests, Jesse Fries, teaches painting, and I'm like, why don't you go take Jesse's class because you can learn more from that. It's kind of been the same thing.
Yeah, and that to me was just. I think that's awesome. I mean, I have like. There's some people I feel like that would just kind of string them along. That I don't know, maybe it's a pride thing, and I don't want to like admit to that fact. But like for me, I know how I was when I was younger, and I was like really hungry to learn as much as I could. And
the flashy stuff, though.
I was into all that kind of stuff. But
Steve Vai plays it. I want to learn that.
But I really wanted to like learn.
Yeah.
So like for me, I just felt like I was at this point, like the kid just got so good to the point where I was like, man, I think you would benefit more from learning from somebody else. And to me, it's like I just want to see progression. I want to see you actually evolve as a musician, and that's what teaching is all about. Like I just think that's really what it is just to see somebody like if they can do bigger and better things with somebody that can actually give them the proper guidance. I think that's just I think that's great when I have students that are just ready for it. But
Great.
probably a good like 65% of it is like, all right, buddy, let's try to play that G chord again, huh? And then you're getting hit in the head with a fucking crayon or something.
Yeah.
Little did you know that kid's mom listens to this podcast.
Yeah, well, that's why I
He
don't
didn't name
specify
names.
And that kid is 17 years
Yeah.
old.
We don't get too many people who name names.
I do have a present for you guys. Though.
You have
Ooh, there's stuff.
there's presents.
There's a
I
thing.
don't know what size to get you. You can, maybe you guys can frame this or whatever you want to do. You could use it as like a rag to clean the house. But we do have an Anika Scribbling.
Oh, that is
t-shirt.
fucking cool.
That is all you were saying, because there's
Oh.
no way that would fit me.
You know what? Let me see. Will it fit me? Oh, it might. But this is what I'm going to do. I super appreciate this.
Yeah, no
But to
worries.
make it even cooler, we have a Facebook. It's not really a contest, but every 100 likes we get on Facebook, we give away a prize
Oh,
package.
okay, yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
include the Anika
That would
Scribbling
be, yeah,
T-shirt
that'd be
Please do.
totally cool.
into that
Anika.
prize. Anika, I'm sorry, guys.
That's
Anika.
okay. That's
See, you
totally
threw-
cool.
I like
I'm
Anika
still,
better.
I'm still broken up about the poor mom that died.
You know what? I've considered like changing the name. Of like, you know what? Fuck it, man. Let's just Anika Scribbling. It is.
Yeah.
Because
If we
that's-
ever need an alibi, it's Anika.
Yeah. Well, that could be that kind of Jethro Tull thing.
Yeah.
Been like, it's Anika Scribbling, and we're like, did we, have you guys and like no one show up? No, that was Anika Scribbling. We're Anika Scribbling because that's how Jethro Tull got their name. They were so bad they kept changing their name,
I didn't know
and then
that.
finally they started getting bookings under Jethro Tull.
That's awesome.
But we're gonna kind of wrap it up. So if people want to check it, do you guys have a CD available, or do people make CDs?
Album. You guys have an album.
Like, where can people hear you and download?
You
your
can,
music?
you know what, the summer band, if you go on bandcamp.com under Anika Scribbling, the whole summer EP, it's just 4 tracks, but it's completely free. So
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyone that wants to download it, none of the music that you'll ever hear us put out is going to cost you any money. There is a suggested price, but you can just put 0 in there and it'll come up as free. Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you download your own stuff.
Yeah.
It's one way to get hits, my friend.
So for anyone that wants it,
And if they wanted a super cool T-shirt, which it is cool, I'm just a little. I think
That is very cool.
I think it would fit, but I'm a little fat. So, and you guys are gonna play some songs for us. What songs are you gonna play for us?
so we're gonna play Spring. So this is actually we unfortunately aren't gonna play anything that's off of the summer record, but we're gonna.
But spring's coming.
But spring is coming. We will post that soon. But we're gonna play Spring, which is the intro into
Last Train Out,
Then we're gonna play
Ship in a Bottle,
Ship in a Bottle, and then we're gonna do one cover for you, and that is.
Sunday Morning.
That's why they keep you
figured
around,
I'd
is
keep
just to
the-
know the name and stuff. Yep. So we're gonna close out with those. So thank you guys for coming. It's been great. We'll definitely have anytime you guys have an album or a performance coming up, let me know. We'll have you guys back to kind of promote it and
that'd be
whatnot. And for our listeners, as always, you can check us out the first Monday of every month at the New World Tavern. We start about 7 o'clock for our life drawing. $8 cover charge. You can bring whatever you like to draw, paint, you name it. And check us out on Facebook, iTunes, on Twitter, at Inebri-art. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And thank you guys for coming down and having some beers with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Okay.
Camel walk to the door, blood is a stain like one on the floor. Grab a match and blow out the flame. Winter is gone as quick as it came. Soldier, I swear, soldier. Please ain't true. Don't be scared. It's season 2. You're unprepared. Now one by one we all got caught. 3 fell down, 2 locked me in the bedroom. When it's sleepy, you should know by now. I'll always go out the window somehow. They say and crayon, pretend it's good, you'll make all. So on your own, what to do for yourself. Let her in before you let it something settle. Tell me your lies, all lies. Let her in before you let it something settle. Tell me your lies, all lies. You're way too young to be close to this filthy playground. No mother will send us on the Greyhound station. Well, I guess we'll see. Well, I guess we'll see. I'll catch your gun. Well, I look out the window today through the bar, doing nothing, but it was so far away, and you to keep me locked up and away. One of these days, I will choose to walk away. I'll face me and pray on, and just to the pain on. But you're on your own. What do you cure your soul? Is you're way too young to be smoking this filthy playground. No mother will send us on to something like that. Greyhound station. Well, I guess we'll see. Well, I guess we'll see. Now you're gone. Dun 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 dun. but they just get so crazy that they like it's all to do. And I will gladly get everything right if I do. Then someday you would leave me back here. Then someday you would leave me back here. Then maybe darkness is all I see. So come here, let's go both with me. Now it's no Sunday morning, and I know fingers trace your every hour. Yeah, yeah. Paint a picture with my hand. Back and forth we swayed our branches in the storm. Still together, all together in the end. That may be all I need, but she is all I see. So come and let your voice well me. God is slow Sunday morning, and I never want to leave. Oh yeah, but they just get so crazy.